I try not to say anything because sometimes it'll tell me like it's still going. And really, we'd be live already.
Mm. It doesn't say that we're live
Good.
on
It's
YouTube.
because it's showing me it's still going so good. I was just going on my phone. Hello, 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 hello. I am so happy we are live again. Did y'all notice that we're on time? Did y'all notice that we're on time? This is what happens when we have amazing professionals like Sonya. Now, everybody else are amazing professionals too. Honestly, it's my fault. I gave instructions and I thought that I didn't have to before. And that's really where I messed up before. Hello, 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 hello. Give me just a second. I am so we're here tonight and we are going to talk all HR consultants. Y'all, we have started with recruitment with Cassie. Then we went into HR VP with Akita Mann. And now we're just moving on up the career ladder. This is not the full career ladder, obviously, but it's definitely moving you from one level of experience to another. So tonight we have Sonja Southerland, and she's going to talk to us all about HR consultants. Now, Sonja's not a big fan of drinks like I am, so I'm not going to hone in on that part tonight, guys. So if you guys have your drinks, you're more than welcome to go ahead and put your emojis into the chat box. But you know what? I like to respect my guests so that they'll come back. So I'm just going to be nice about that part. She's so amazing that she don't even mind me talking about it. But I'm super excited because I did HR consulting for a small period of my career. But Sonya has really did the path that I thought I would do. And later in my career, I changed. So I'm definitely excited to hear all that she has to teach us all about how we can grow our careers up into an HR consultant capacity. And right now, I am going to open the floor so that the amazing Sonja Southerland can introduce herself.
Well, hello, hello, hello. I am like so excited. I'm feeling like a fangirl because I have been watching you grow and our relationship has evolved over the years and to see where you have come and that I get to be a guest on your platform is so amazing to me. I really, really appreciate it. But thank you for having me. As you stated, I'm Sonya and I call myself the HR bestie. And I
Love it.
I am an entrepreneur, meaning I still work a full-time 9 to 5 while I am building my full-service consulting firm that helps support small businesses in establishing and building capacity in their HR function. And so I'm really excited about being here tonight and hopefully share some meaningful information for those who might be interested.
I love it. I love it. Entrepreneur. Okay. So obviously I've been calling myself the wrong name. Obviously I
Oh.
need to fix it. Because I am just like Sonya, y'all. We're around here still trading in these
Yeah.
full-time jobs while we work our way up into being a full-time entrepreneur. And I think that that's a blessing because we get the luxuries of both sides of the coin before we go and flip over to a whole nother. So I'm super excited about it. We got some good stuff for y'all tonight because Sonya and I we met through our network, which has been the most unique way, in my opinion. And like she said, we already grown. Like we have truly grown. And it's funny because I went to like a couple networking events and had talked to Sonya on the phone, never met her in person, but her girlfriend, I met her. And I saw these two ladies looking at me, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm overdressed, maybe I'm underdressed. Let me get over here and get a drink. And then they started calling me over, and I'm like, okay, so they want to talk to me, not about me. Okay. And then they're like, are you Tamika? I'm like, hold on, hey, I ain't get this big yet. And these ladies look like they know what they're talking about. Did not know it was Sonya. We talked on the phone. And this is where I tell y'all all the time, and Sonya, I hope you don't mind me, you wouldn't mind me sharing this, but I'm gonna tell you, like, this is where I think that it's such a blessing to find that HR bestie. It doesn't have to be someone that you work with. It doesn't have to be someone that works in the office with you. Just someone that knows that lingo. Because just like any career field, you can talk to your family all day long about your headaches at work. But when you can talk to somebody that understands that lingo, because we don't realize we're talking a whole nother language when we're talking to family, or we talking to friends, and they don't always know players. When you talk to somebody that already works in HR, I can say the position, maybe not their name, but I can say the position, and she totally understands my stance. And so that's what we talked on the phone. Is I called Sonya because I was like in the midst of like losing my cool, and she had so much patience listening to me just like kind of go through it all. I had a lot of family stuff going on at the same time. And I personally feel like that was one of the biggest reasons I was so overwhelmed. I was still finding myself, still learning myself, and still learning exactly like how I wanted to navigate life as a whole. But I knew I didn't want to stop HR. I knew that was my passion, but it was causing me so much like mental stress. So I thank you 1,000 times over, Sonya, for letting me call and just like vomit all over the phone.
Listen, this is
That's
what
what
we're
I
here
did.
for. Absolutely. I mean, if there's moments and times where you need to be that person that listens, and then there are other times where you need to be the person that needs someone to listen to you. And so
Hmm.
we have been that for each other. And
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate you. You are such a giving and loving and real, authentic person. That word authenticity has lost some of its potency because so many people talk about being authentic,
Who
and
you
it really
telling?
is just a mask for being fake. I found
Mm-hmm.
you to be who you say you are,
Aw,
and I appreciate it. So, yeah,
thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Because, working in HR, sometimes you feel like you are forced to be fake.
yeah.
Like, because you can't share everything. You can't really show like an emotion to some different situations. Sometimes you got to just think through. And so, thank you so much for just recognizing that in me. Because sometimes I get frustrated with myself and I'm like, that is not the response you normally give.
That's right.
Like, like, girl, please stay
Yes.
true to yourself. But I'm gonna dive into some questions because honestly, I did a couple videos about HR consultants. Like I said, I did it for such a short period of time in my career, maybe 3 or 6 months or so. And I had a few clients, but they were all like pretty small clients. I was doing it solopreneur, like no one else working with me. And then when I did these videos, or even when I work with some of my mentees, they all had like it seems like repetitive questions, and some of them are ones that I have too. But to give clarity, because I feel like I've seen so many jobs posted that are internal positions as HR consultants, just as well as I see people running a business and they're HR consultant. Can you just tell us like not only what is an HR consultant, but what's the difference between the two when they're full-time employee versus, creating their own brand, their own company?
Yeah. So, a true HR consultant is an independent contractor that is hired by an organization to help with a specific project or task, right? That individual does not work for that organization. They're not an employee. They don't receive benefits. They're not paid they don't, you're not paying taxes. They don't determine when you come to work, when you don't come to work. It's the true differentiator of being a contractor. And they call you in for your expertise. And sometimes that is around building capacity for an HR department to help, make sure that all the components are in place to make sure that you have a solid HR function. And sometimes it is for specific reasons, like, maybe there is some type of employee relation issue, or there's a new system or process that needs to be implemented. And maybe sometimes in some organizations that I've worked with, they have HR people or individuals that may
For
have
an
HR
HR department.
responsibilities, but they're not necessarily they don't necessarily have the capacity to manage the full function of HR. So a consultant generally is well versed in HR, knows about all of the components of HR from recruiting all the way through employee relations, and is able to offer that expertise for whatever that organization needs.
Okay, so am I right that like when they're hired as for that company, then traditionally they know that company. They know they're not working for anyone else. But why do you think it's a thing? Because I don't feel like this was a thing for like, I mean, I've been in HR, for a long time. You already know that, 12 years.
Yeah,
And I don't feel like I saw HR consultants as a full-time role back
yeah.
in the day. I feel like this is something that's new and emerging that we're seeing them hire full-time HR consultants while we still have external ones.
Yeah, that is an interesting concept. And I think where I have seen it the most is in larger organizations, very similar
Hmm.
to where you see companies that hire legal professionals or
You
legal
got it. Yeah.
consultants, right? They come in and they work for the company. They are employees of the company, but they have a specific function where they're not tied into the daily operations of the business, but
Okay.
they're there as primarily a consultant. Like if all right, something happens and we get sued, we have this attorney that's on our payroll that we can go to and get, information from, get advice from without having to pay an hourly consulting rate because they're
Okay.
actually employed by our organization. I believe that some larger companies I have seen use the HR function in the same way. I also
Yeah.
think that you see that a lot because in some larger companies, you see HR going to shared services, right? So they don't
Mm-hmm.
have like a dedicated HR team for every function in HR.
Okay.
And traditionally, you might see a HR team that includes a recruitment person, a payroll person, a learning and development person, an administrative person. But as organizations grow and evolve, and as the economy is changing, we see that sometimes those individual specialty roles are eliminated, and they bring in consultants that really are because they use shared services to manage all of the daily functions of HR. And this person just, is kind of there to support anything that those shared services are not able to.
See,
To
that's what I was thinking. I was like, when I initially started seeing so many, I was like, is this like a cost saving tactic? So like, you can have someone in house, but not have to pay all of the overhead costs. I think people
yeah,
get so confused because they think like, your cost or how much they pay an employee is okay. We're paying you this hourly or salary rate, right? But
yeah,
overall, if we look at the whole total rewards package, then we're including what it costs to bring this person on board, what it costs for benefits, what it costs for any other luxuries we may give them, or any other, you know, I say
perks.
luxuries, but yeah, there you go. You
Yeah.
got to see when you got HR on the call, child. But but yeah, when you get other perks and stuff, and I think that I was like, I wonder if they're just not giving these consultants all of those perks and benefits.
Another thing that I have seen and recognized is that sometimes you did a live on this about outdated titles. I think that you see that
That
also
thing went
with
wow. Yes,
okay,
yes.
because sometimes companies are still using outdated systems and processes and using terms that no longer apply in the modern
Child.
workforce, right? And so they think I don't know what they think, so let me not say that they think, but I would perceive that it's possible that they use that term so that people in the organization feel as if a consultant feels different than an employee, right? Because we all know how people run away from HR and they think an HR person is here for the company. If I
Mm-hmm.
call you a consultant, then in the organization, it could feel like you're there in service of the
Mm-hmm.
employees and
Yeah,
not
you know what? You
necessarily
hitting on
the
something with that
employees.
one. Yeah.
And
So we
so I
don't look
think
like the police.
yeah,
Okay.
I think it has something to do with certain organizations around culture. And I think, we see this just not well thought out enough because a true HR professional knows how to create that delicate balance between how
Yes.
you support an organization and how you support the individuals, and that you're fair and unbiased. And if a company is wrong, you tell them that they are wrong. If that employee is wrong, you tell them that they are wrong.
And when we find
So
a solution for both of them being wrong, we
that's
find one that
right.
works for both sides. Yes.
Absolutely.
Might not, and in them cases, neither one like the decision, but you like, this what we doing.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
gonna work out in the long run.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so my chat wasn't coming up for some reason on my computer, and now I'm like behind. So y'all, I'm so sorry. I see y'all in there. I had to pull it up on my phone. My bad. But hello, authentic. Yes, it's your first time seeing my live. I'm so happy you're able to catch it. I'm so happy you're able to catch it. Welcome back, Riley. Yes, we're on HR Consultancy, child. Riley is the HR director, and he's worked from startups and on up. You
Okay.
are in the right spot. He's so well. Like sometimes I will say I love like the folks that keep returning, especially if I know their experience, because they'll help me out in the chat sometimes. They be
Yes.
answering questions. I'll be like, we're
Yes.
gonna be here 5 hours if I answer every
Okay.
question. You're so welcome, Shannon. Of course. I'm excited for it too, Social Roots. What up, Aaron? Girl, you stay coming back. I absolutely adore y'all keep coming back. Hey, Deidre again. That's what we doing. Oh, we appreciate it. We're the queens. We shall take our crowns.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, I love this. Hey, Mighty Zane, welcome back. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna just scan this real quick, see if y'all got any questions.
Yes.
Um, she does. She really does. Giving you compliments, Shy. I love it. Um, oh, good, Social Roots. So we're gonna keep going so we don't stop too much. That's what I figured authentic. Authentic said that a lot, like his company has HR consultants in their function as HR business partners. I wondered about that too. Again, I go right back to the fact that I don't feel like leadership completely understands like the roles. And I'm gonna give grace for right now because let's be clear, a lot of these roles are becoming not only new, but now people are realizing the value, so they're hiring on more people. So I'm gonna give these companies some leeway because I'm like, how do y'all give people titles and it doesn't work out right?
Right.
So Mighty Zane is currently working for a company that hires HR consultants. HR consultants prefer a third party rather than being employed by the company, even declining similar HR positions for the role. Okay. And welcome, JoJo. Same
Yeah.
things Sonya kind of went over. I feel like Sonya went over quite a few of those things. Well, if you since we're already on a pause, I hope y'all don't mind. I'm gonna continue with this pause for 2 seconds because I want to continue to talk all about HR consultants, but I don't want to miss our opportunity because I know when y'all get on these lives, sometimes y'all cooking dinner, y'all driving home from getting the kids at sports. Like they'll tell me all kinds of stuff they're doing. Girl, I'm trying to feed these kids. So I know that it's evening time, y'all busy, y'all got a life. And I know some of y'all probably ain't even looking at us. You got your earpiece in while you got the octopus hands going. I get it. So I'm gonna hit this, and just in case you got to get off, I'm here for you. I don't want you to miss this because there's some thunder we about to drop. Let me tell you something. Sonya has created the most amazing atmosphere. So many times I tell y'all about networking. And I keep telling you, don't do it the traditional way, right? Traditional way is we're gonna go to like a SHRM meeting, exchange business cards, talk to this person at the next SHRM meeting, never follow up, never really have this excitement, never really have a plan on how we're going to manage these relationships, just trying to give out as many business cards as we want. For the introverts, we hate it. And we're like, to me, that's not an option for me. I want you to know that the new way to network, in my opinion, is a way that works for all. In my opinion, works for extroverts, just like myself, and introverts, because you can totally do it online and Facebook groups. You can do it in person. You can do it in LinkedIn groups. You can just hit someone in the DMs these days. Ain't nobody even got to know you talk to them. They don't even see your fingers trembling as you're writing this message because you're reaching out to a stranger. But what Sonya has done is created an event that I absolutely love. I kind of got exhausted with conferences for a while. I'm gonna be real with y'all because I felt like they were the same. They were so predictable, right? And then I think part of it is in 2019, my company messed up and let me go to National SHRM, and I was like, I don't want to go to nothing else except National SHRM. That's where the party at. That's where the folks at.
Party
They
is
understand my
there,
lingo.
okay?
The party is
Party is there.
there.
Okay?
You had the pleasure of going this year, and I was like, don't tell me about it, but tell me about
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
So I felt like, okay, Mika, you above this now, child. We only do national HR, national terms. But I went to Sonya's Innovate Conference last year in 2023, and y'all, my mother said, if you ain't got nothing else to say, just wave your hand. So
Okay.
I'm gonna just wave my hand because that's how good it was. When I tell you I had loved being in the space, I'm talking to all of y'all, the folks at home, and I'm talking to Sonya because Sonya need to hear this, y'all. She need to hear this. When I tell you I had such a good time seeing so much of my people, like the music is the music I like. The line dances are the line dances I know about. The taking the selfies, seeing all this melanin on my phone was amazing. Like each session that I went into, I was like, oh my God, I need to go back and man my table. Cause I was a vendor last year, y'all. And I was like, Lord, ain't nobody at my table. But I thought about it too. I was like, well, everybody in these rooms, hopefully nobody's coming to my table because I kept sneaking in and I was just like floored each time. When I tell y'all current topics, we're talking about how AI impacts HR. We're talking about not only just HR, but it's for business leaders as well. Lord,
Mhm.
if I tell you, I wish we had had these conferences where we can marry the two into one space because I think that business leaders does not realize the impact or even just getting the resources. You don't even have to hire someone. Just get their resources or have someone that you can call ad hoc, or PRN, however you want to do it, where you can just be like, hey, I got this issue. What do you think? And putting us all in that room was just amazing to hear, like insight for the business owners as well as insight for HR and seeing business owners like their light bulb go off where they're like, oh, this is how HR helps me because
Mhm.
it really does impact your bottom dollar. Like sometimes they waste that money like crazy, and you're like, why? Let me do a
Right.
position valuation. Like this is not right. So she has an amazing conference. We're doing it again this year. She's doing it again this year. Y'all see, I didn't claim the conference, child. But She's gonna do this conference again this year. It's here in Charleston, South Carolina, y'all. It's amazing stuff here to do in Charleston. I'm a little biased because I'm a native, but I absolutely love it here. And I think that the venue, in my opinion, I was very impressed by the venue that she chose because it doesn't take you into the busies of Charleston. It's more in a very new developed area that we call Nexton. And the venue itself is amazing. I love everything from the way we can easily walk in, find what we need, the design, the food was amazing. And Sonya, I want you to get me off my rocker because I'm going wild and
Well,
tell the
thank
people about
you.
your event because I didn't
Thank
take it
you
over, child.
so much for that. I mean, it's good to hear, and we are still getting the testimonies. People are still talking to us about, what they experienced while they were at Icon last year. And so we are excited to extend the experience. Last year we had 1 day in Charleston. This year we're extending it to 2 days. And I
Ooh.
think what sets this conference aside, and I think what people really felt was that this is not a conference where, traditionally in my career, you go to a conference, if you're an HR professional, you go to a place like SHRM and all of the HR professionals are there. Nobody else is there. The CEOs are not there. The people that work in the organization are not there. It's just you. You go to a finance company, all the CFOs are there, or finance conference, all the CFOs are there. You go to a project management conference, all the project managers are there. But
Mm-hmm.
what is unique about the Icon experience is that we are bringing all of the stakeholders together in one space. So if you own a business, if you are a business owner, and you are, my consultancy really supports generally employers that have 50 employees or less, right? So they're in that space where they might have 10 or 20 employees and they have all of the problems that organizations that have 100 employees have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They just don't necessarily have the capacity to have a full-on HR organization. And so small business owners need to be in the room because we're talking about topics that really help to increase the capacity and understand the value and how you can use the tool of HR to help support your business. And then we're there talking to professionals, those individuals who are matriculating through their career. They are making decisions about how to grow their career, what the next move is for their career, how do they communicate their needs to their organizations about their career, how do I make the moves about what's next for me, what does mentoring look like, allyship, sponsorship, all of those things, what do they look like for me as an individual? and how does my boss understand how to relate those things to me? You're in the same space learning at the same time. And then the bridge, in my opinion, is the HR professional, because we're the ones who are always in between the business owners and the professionals trying to make sure that things are working together. So we're providing resources and support for the HR professionals to teach, like, how do we communicate in the C-suite with the C-suite executives, and ensuring that they're aware of all of the things that are changing in the landscape of work and how we do work, how we communicate with people. One of the sessions this year that I'm really excited about is that for the first time in history, we have 6 generations of the workforce working at the same time. This has never happened
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have, Gen A, Gen Alpha, all the way up to our traditional employees in the same work environments, trying to, manage all of the things that are different for them. And organizations struggle with how to attract these people, how to retain these people, how to recruit these people in all of these different generations. And so I think it's really important for us to all be together in one space, learning together, and really elevating the language of workplace harmony. We've heard a lot about work-life balance, and for me, it's a fallacy. It doesn't really exist. But if we can learn how to really engage in harmony, a harmonious relationship with our lives, and have that integration in how we work, how we live, and how we play, then we can have a much better experience in our professional and our personal lives. So I hope,
Absolutely.
you're as excited as I am about it. Tamika has not, she has been pretty modest, but she was nominated for one of the awards that we're going to be awarding on Thursday night. But listen, when I tell you the nominations came in, okay, for sis, the nominations came in. I
I
mean,
think they
oh, the
like
bing,
me.
bing, 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 and every one of them, I was like, oh my God, Tamika Green, Tamika Green, Tamika Green, Tamika Green, Tamika Green.
So y'all,
So
sis has been looking online from site to site, ordering multiple sizes. I don't know what size I wear. I'm always in the house. Y'all, I'm gonna be wearing my gown.
that's
And
right.
so y'all
Put
see
on
me
your
going
good
to the
thing.
gym. What
That's right.
we gonna make this thing work, child.
Well,
So
we got
I'm so
Sean in here in the
thankful.
comments, so you know he don't let us out. We got the
Oh Lord, no. Sean's been on before. He know all about HR, child. I love it. I'm super excited about it. And I want y'all to just do me a favor because y'all hear how me and Sonya are talking about this. And obviously we can talk about this for forever, right? But I want y'all to do me a favor. Stick with us till the end. Stick with us till the end. We have an amazing giveaway. So I want y'all to absolutely stay till the end. We're going to give those details at the end.
Yes.
We'll have the replay up, so don't worry about, hey Tamika, we have the replay up, but there is a time limit on this thing, so if you have to jump off, make sure you watch this within the next 24 hours. Cool. So I'm going to look back at the chat because they firing off, child. You know, get the folks excited. I love this. I love this. I'm so happy you're here too. What up, Sean? Sean, I'm gonna come back to the gym, but you be whipping
Okay.
folks
I
behind,
asked him, Sean,
man.
did she work out today? I told him I can make
Who's
y'all work
now?
out.
Whose side you on?
Listen, I'm on the side of healthy. We got to get it. We got to
He has conditioned you so well. Look at you. He has you conditioned. Oh my goodness. I'm like saying this Sean stories and feeling guilty at the same time. Like, I need to get in there. Riley said fractional HR is his next move. Sonya, what resources have you found useful to building and maintaining your HR knowledge to be competitive in the 1099 market?
That is such a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, SHRM is a great resource, and I know there's a lot of heat around SHRM and some decisions that have been made in the last
Yeah,
month or
yeah.
so. But I do find that a lot of the trends and things that are happening in the HR landscape, SHRM is definitely the place that has the first level of information.
Mm-hmm.
I have also been privileged to join the executive network. And as a consultant, that has really changed the game for me because in the executive network, you get access to the knowledge center unlimited where you can call and ask questions. They give you, it's a separate website that has different types of information, white pages, all types of data that does not necessarily come in the traditional SHRM membership. It gives you the
Oh.
ability to get that information so that you can speak intelligently to businesses about how those things are, how they're impacting the landscape of work and how things are changing. I also just listen to. I try to keep my finger on the pulse. I think one thing that helps me, and one of the questions that I was considering is still working in industry helps me to stay current on knowledge.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
working in HR, especially when you're thinking about employee relations and some of the things that you just can never anticipate, some of the problems that never come up, if you
Mm-hmm.
can make sure you're in a space where you're still exposed to
Mm-hmm.
things that are changing and moving. Just having that access, I think, has helped me working for a global organization in my day job. It really energizes me in my consulting because it helps me to think about things that I'm not necessarily thinking about on this 1099 side, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. The things that I do as a consultant help fuel the work that I am doing as a full-time employee. And
Yeah.
so SHRM is definitely my first go-to resource. I've also, I'm not sure if this is a new independent HR firm called Cagebird HR.
Oh, never heard of
Sierra
them.
Goss is the CEO, and I have reached out to their consultants because their work is really surrounded specifically around supporting individuals, people, professionals in the HR space, and they're an independent HR consulting company. So they do not work for a company at all.
They're
They
not
all,
based in Charlotte, are they?
I think she is from the Charlotte area, but I'm not sure. I think her business is based out of Charlotte or New York. I'm not sure. I think there's a connection in North Carolina,
Yeah.
New York, but I'm not sure where her
Okay.
headquarters is.
Because Corbin connected me with somebody, but I think they were in Charlotte. It was years ago. So I'm wondering if it's the same one
Her
because I was
business is fairly new. I think it's like 3 years old, maybe. But I've
okay,
had
maybe
really
not the
good
same.
success in reaching out to their consultants when I had some complex issues, particularly with a client that I was not, well, I not was not that I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do or what I needed to do, but I wanted to
Sometimes
do
we just
it.
need to kind of, we
Just
just
need to
can
talk it
bounce
out.
ideas. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I do that without a doubt. And I
yeah.
think so. Let's give Riley a well-rounded space on this because I hear where you get resources, which is great. But I want people to remember that when you start doing consultancy or, essentially creating a business, it's a little bit more to it than that. So take us through what it looked like for you so that people know that Innovate was a thing that people would call you for their resources. Like, how would you get these businesses to buy into your services or to even grow your services? Because I can imagine that
That
took a lot of marketing, promoting.
yeah, it's my story is so non-traditional. And I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this conversation today. And what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna bring it full circle. But what I'm gonna say is number one, I believe in divine order, right? I
Amen.
believe that, when
Amen.
there's something that you're supposed to do, that you're called and created to do, that work finds you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you start operating in spaces and doing things and you don't really have clarity or understand why you're doing it. You just do it, and as you go, then ways, you just continue to build and grow, and things start to open up. And that's exactly what happened for me. I
Wow.
was just working in HR space. And for those of you who have heard my story before, I even kind of accidentally, not accidentally, fell into HR. I was a business owner. I owned two residential treatment facilities, a daycare center. So my residential treatment facilities were for adolescents with moderate to severe mental health disorders.
Mm.
And we had a daycare center, and I was married at the time. My ex-husband was a pastor. And so I was doing the work of entrepreneurship. And then we decided that 25 years ago, this is a lot. I was less than 25 years old. I was younger than 25. I had two young children, and we had these three businesses, and nobody was
Wow.
saying, slow down, you got your whole life to do this. So
Ahead
we
of you.
decided we're going to sell the businesses, we're going to move to a place where nobody knows our name and start over. So we sold the
Wow.
businesses, closed the church, and moved to Charleston. That's how I arrived in Charleston.
Oh,
And
wow.
during that transition, I started to think, okay, then what's next for me? I don't have the businesses anymore. I've sold those. The group homes are, with new ownership. What am I going to do? And I started to evaluate, like, what did I feel most energized by in the work that I was doing? And after some soul searching, it really was clear to me that I was most passionate about connecting with people and making sure that people were aligned in the things that they felt were their purpose, or they were aligned in the things that their natural skills needed to do. So we were trying to manage three different businesses and find the people at the time to fit in the spaces that we needed. And that was the
Mm-hmm.
most like exciting thing for me. And that's how I landed my first HR job. I was
Wow.
working as a consultant for a occupational health practice, and
Mm.
just doing some operational kind of consulting work. It was a very small practice at the time, and they couldn't really support a salary for me. And so I left there, went to MUSC and started working. And the person who I was working for called me back after about 2 years and said, hey, we've got this contract now with the Sheriff Al Cannon Detention Center. We're going to go
Mm.
from 10 employees to 100 employees. Do you know HR? And he said, do you know HR? And I said, yes, I do. I
Did you
did
know
not.
HR?
I did not know HR. I didn't know a thing about HR. I had no idea. I went home and started Googling HR. Like, what is this? Like,
Don't y'all follow Sonya tactics here? The
listen,
Lord help
I'm
her
telling
that
you,
everybody can't do
you
that.
can't do this now. I'm just telling you, this is
That's
non-traditional.
how long ago this was. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you full circle. All right. So I said, yes, I know HR. I didn't know nothing about HR. Now I don't recommend that today, but this was the divine order. Okay, because let me tell you, them first 3 or 4 years was tough because I didn't know it, right? I had to
Yeah.
figure it out. I was learning as
Mm-hmm.
I was going, and thankfully, the organization was in a space of growth that allowed me the opportunity
Wow.
to kind of build those skills, build those competencies while I was working. And I
Yeah.
took the test for the senior professional in HR within my first 3 years of being in HR.
Oh, wow. How
And
did
it
that
was
go?
failed.
I
Failed by 6 points.
only laughing because me too by 10. I was like,
I failed
yeah,
by
I don't know HR.
with not really any experience under my belt, but I knew it was something that I needed. But the process of learning, the context of being in the space and learning about all of these different things that I had no idea about is
Mhm.
what I knew it. Like the more I did it, the more energized I became. Like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. When
And
it's your
so,
passion, that's how it works out. When it's your
absolutely,
passion, that is totally how
absolutely,
it works out. Because, like, luckily back in the day, it's sad to say this, but even just, 10, 12 years ago when I started my career, people weren't taking HR so serious. So you
yeah,
could mess up. Like you could afford to mess up because no,
yeah,
the eyes weren't on you. They weren't really
right,
expecting a result. They weren't even like we weren't even at the C-suite table. People would come out of executive meetings and tell us what happened. And then you're like,
exactly.
so what happened? Now we're at the C-suite table. People are expecting us to perform. They're expecting us to have the answers. So like that's the main reason why we saying that. We ain't hating on y'all who like, well, I can Google and do it too. No, we telling you because just like she said, the first 3 years was rough. She
It
took
was
that
rough.
exam, she failed. Like it's this is and now the impact is even more. Like people
Yes,
are really finding since 2020, I'm proud, but also scared for people starting their career. But I'm proud as an HR professional how HR has grown and like people have seen the value now. Like it was,
absolutely.
I couldn't believe like it took so long, but people are now seeing the value. And I'm like, we've been telling y'all like we might not generate direct revenue, but we help you retain revenue. We definitely indirectly impact revenue, and we help y'all from having to learn stuff the hard way. But they are blowing us up. They're wild by your story. Let's be clear, they are wild by your story.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that process and that journey is what fueled my interest in being a consultant. Just
yeah.
the same things that you just said. Like I started to recognize that people were asking me questions and they didn't have access to the information.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I used
Simple
that
questions
time,
too. Simple, like,
simple
how do I use my
questions.
benefits? Or, hey,
Yes.
Tamika, I need to take time off. And like, I mean, it becomes the simple questions that you like. And I'm sorry about interrupting you. I'll be working on it, but you know how we go when we not online.
Yeah. We'll
But
get
like
excited.
I exactly I remember I had an employee, and this was definitely my first job, in my first or second year. And I
Mhm.
was just the Lord rest my HR director soul. She passed from cancer. But
Mm,
and I loved her to pieces, but like HR was definitely not our passion. It was like, nah, I'm gonna ride out on this train until we retire. Like, and
mm,
so we had a benefits broker that provided us with a 1-800 number into their benefits call center. And I
mhm,
got so aggravated with hearing her for the simplest questions, give them this 1-800 number. And like,
mhm,
not only that, like they would go through loopholes of waiting for forever on responses. And I was just like, what? Like she literally had remembered the number and told me, girl, you need to remember this number. And I was
mm.
like, nah, I'm gonna remember this number so I can call while employee's standing right here and I'm gonna walk through it. Cause how am I gonna learn the benefits? And one
Absolutely.
employee, she literally was pregnant, like within a business cycle. And she was like, how do I mean, within a benefits year. And she was like, how do I navigate this? And I was like, girl, first thing, like, chill out. But second thing is, it was a new avenue for me where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, there are some limits that she has access to and some that she doesn't. And like, it's those things that fuel us when you see that person go, thank you.
Yes. When you see the light bulb go off for
Hmm.
someone, the ultimate that is the
Compliment.
ultimate satisfaction and compliment,
Yes.
right? And I
Yes.
use that as opportunities to, I think that's really how my business began to grow because I put in the effort to really get answers for people, right? And so
Hmm.
then they begin to respect my voice. They begin to respect my expertise. They know I wasn't going to just give them a canned answer or a canned response.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
other people started saying, if you don't know what you need to know about HR,
Call
you
Sonya.
ask Sonya, right?
Hmm.
And so then they would say, oh, I know this person over here. They are having this issue, or they just started their business. What do they need to know? Like, how do they even get started? And that's really how my reputation began to grow because
Wow.
I was sincerely interested in making sure that I was learning. And as I was learning, passing that information
Heck
on
yeah.
as people were asking me questions. And I enjoyed the questions because it was a challenge for me to say, okay, I don't know, but I can figure it out. And as I was
Hmm.
figuring it out, I was sharing that information. And I could tell that it was so refreshing for people to hear someone who was genuinely, first of all, listening to the question
Hmm.
they were asking and giving them an answer and a response. And that, as a
Hmm.
consultant, has, I believe, been my calling card. It's why I think I have the success that I have. is because I've learned how to listen, and I don't just go in and say, all right, this is what you need to
Yeah.
do. This is how it
Yeah.
needs to work.
Yeah.
They know that I'm going to hear them out and provide solutions based on what they have shared with me. And that's
Heck
it. I'm
yeah.
not just going trying to sell my services to them. And so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
has really been
And I'm pretty sure you do like me, where I kind of challenge myself to not get the same answer every time, because I get so frustrated when people give like these same canned answers. And
mhm.
I'm like, well, what's different about this situation? What can I offer additional to what I've already offered? And I'm happy you talked about, you know, a bit of your journey, because that was one of the questions in the chat, is like, how can I become an HR consultant? So tell
Yeah.
us, like, how did you start your career? You already told us how you started. You already gone and lied to them people. And
25 years later, though, I'm legit, okay?
yeah,
So
so
we
now
don't know
tell
that.
us, how did you maneuver through those 20 something years?
So, I like I said, that first role in HR, I'm still grateful to Mr. Herbert Drayton, okay? Because he endured that process with me. He was my first mentor, and he's actually one of the speakers at our conference. He was there last
Oh,
year. He'll be
love
here
it.
this year
Yeah,
as
I
well.
remember he was there last year on the
Um,
panel.
Yes. And so honestly, after that first stint, I was with him for about 7 years.
Wow.
And because I began to build a reputation in the HR community through the partners that we worked with, like the benefits brokers, I started to learn the people who sold the tools and the systems that we needed to use,
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
building relationships with those
Mm-hmm.
individuals and just talking about, HR and asking them questions, being curious, getting information. And then they would vice versa reach out to me. And I didn't shut that down. And I know sometimes as an HR professional, especially when you are, going through your daily work and you get all of these emails from all of these vendors trying to sell you something, trying to talk to you about
Mm-hmm.
something, trying to give you
Mm-hmm.
something, trying to get time on your
They
calendar.
relentless, child. They relentless.
Relentless, right? And it can be annoying, but I'm telling you that was the impetus for the success of my career. I strategically figured out who are the people I need to know
Yeah.
when I knew that I wanted to move over into consulting, and I gave space for that. I went to
Mm-hmm.
lunches, I went to dinners, I went to events, I showed up, I talked to people. And so that when people were looking for HR professionals, they thought about me. And so from that time that I was in that organization where I first learned, I never applied for another HR role. Every role in my
What?
career I was recruited into because someone I had a relationship with referred me and said, you should consider Sonya.
Oh, nice.
And
That's been the
so
majority of my career, but not every position. So when you left from working for Mr. Herbert, what were your job titles as you went through?
so I was an HR manager working with Herbert. And then my next role was a director of HR.
Wow.
And in that role, I had two direct reports. And
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in that role for about 4 years. And then my next role was HR director, but it was a larger organization. So that role was like 115, 130 employees. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next organization was like 170, 180 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then my next role moved me to the head of HR. Or
Mm-hmm.
it's a global organization, so they use these European
Yeah.
titles, but it's
Yeah. Yeah.
equivalent to being the chief human resource officer for this organization in the US. And I have in this role 6 direct reports, and I've been in this role for the last almost 7 years. So
Wow.
I had 4 roles over my HR career, with
Mm-hmm.
this probably being the last role that I'll be in a corporate role, and I'll be transitioning fully into my consulting work when I leave this role.
Now I have another question, right? And you don't have to go through and name them, but were they different industries or were they the same industries?
So the first 3 were all in healthcare.
Okay.
All in healthcare. This role, my 4th role, is the first role that has been a sales and service organization. It
Okay.
still had
So,
a healthcare undercurrent, but it was
mm-hmm.
still very different in terms of, HR is HR from industry to industry, but there are some nuances when you start to move across
You're hitting on
industries.
it. Yeah.
And that is something that has really helped me in my consultancy, because all of my clients as consultants are in different industries. They're not
Wow.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's I think the value of relationships is really important when you're starting to build a business, build a consulting business.
So now that well, I'm jumping ahead myself because you know got me all excited, child. I'm coming to y'all in the comments, child. I'm coming to y'all. But let me ask you a question. Now that you're doing both simultaneously,
Mhm.
like how has that been? What were the
Mhm.
difficulties, like the pros and the cons you found in being a W-2 employee and also a contractor and a business owner for all of these
Yeah,
companies?
so that's two different questions for me, right? The first
Mm-hmm.
thing is being an entrepreneur is hard, right? Because being the head of HR, I am blessed to have a team, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes. I am a part of the executive team. I sit on the C-suite of this
Mm-hmm.
business. So, the strategic planning, the operations, all of the things that manages, and we have employees in all 50 states in the United
Wow.
States. So it's a very full and have lots of responsibility in that role,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I also have a full responsibility to my clients and those who have entrusted me to manage and help them manage their businesses. So one of my key foundational values is integrity. And that
Mm-hmm.
has been like so important for me. And again, my path is a bit non-traditional. And so I encourage you to embrace those things that don't feel like the
Mm-hmm.
straight and narrow path, because that's what really gets you to the place that you're designed to be at, right? So
Absolutely.
when I knew in 2017 that I wanted to start consulting and I was playing around with it as a hobby, I started having conversations with my employer. And I know that that is not what most people do, right? Because they say, if I tell them that I'm doing this on the side, they're going to be like, oh, well, we need somebody
Child.
else. But I lead with integrity. That is a value of mine. And I said straight up from the beginning, I am interested in consulting and I want to be able to build my business in a way that I can transition out of this organization into my consulting. And I would like your support. And I was very
Wow.
honest up front with my CEO who I reported to. I told them that, you know, I'm not gonna mix and mingle things. I will be integral with my time. If
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
time off to do my consulting, I'll do that. And in my experience in this organization, they have been fully supportive of the work that I'm doing. They know that I am a consultant. I told them
Mm-hmm.
when I started to invest in my business, okay, I'm going to the next level. You're going to see
Mm-hmm.
posts on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn about my consulting. I'm still fully committed to you as an organization, but
Mm-hmm.
I am investing in my business because my plan is to transition from this role in this amount of time. And I need
Yeah.
you to know I need your support. I want your support. Or are you comfortable with this? I had the difficult conversations so that I could manage that, right? So that was one part of that. The second part of your question is, as a consultant, the pros and cons are also kind of intricate, because when you're not an employee and you're coming into someone's organization as a consultant, you have to take that mindset that I am coming in to offer recommendations. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot be responsible for the outcome. So I could tell my client that
Wow.
this is what you need to do. These are the risks if you do this or if you don't. But at the end of the day, they have a decision to make about whether it's the right move for their organization. And I have to be comfortable with walking away if they decide that this is not something that they want to do.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
as an HR professional who's passionate and who believes in the work that they're doing and feels charged by the things that you're doing, it's difficult to make that transition in your mind that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are a person that's a external consultant. You're providing information, you're providing expertise, but at the end of the day, it's up to that business to implement the things and to implement the process discipline that it takes to see these type of processes and procedures through. And as a consultant, you don't always get to see the end result. And
So
so,
if you can give, like, with all of your experience now, if you can give a nugget to, because you've seen how HR has changed now,
mhm,
if you can give a nugget to those who's starting of like, what are the top three things you recommend that they do to prepare themselves for HR consultant? Because I think too many times people, or I ain't even gonna say I think, I have amazing, amazing, amazing mentees, absolutely love them. I'm sure they're the ones that nominated me for this. I love my mentees, but sometimes I have to like kind of do some unlearning for them or
mhm,
to re-gear their mindset to say you can't go from being an HR specialist to an HR consultant. So if you can give people like 3 nuggets of how to build up to that, what will those 3 nuggets be? If that's their goal, that's what they want to do. What are the 3 things you can say? And personally, I almost feel like I can answer one of them because that transparency thing, you stepping all on my toes. I mean, my VP knows, but I haven't taken the time to have this big conversation. But what are some of the 3 nuggets you give
Yeah,
someone
I would
trying
say
to grow into
one.
that space?
Yeah, I would say one, if you're going to be transitioning into a consultant, one, you need to be very intentional about building a network of individuals who have influence that can get you into corporate, corporate organizations or corporate agreements or places, people that have influence that can get you the business. You need to work on building that relationship before you step out into being a consultant. The second thing I would say is get a mentor. That's something I've shared transparently, that a lot of my journey has been by trial and error, and I've had to figure it out. And I've had to go around a whole lot of mountains that I probably would not have if I had the proper mentor to kind of help guide me and walk me through the process of becoming a business owner and what all of the things that, how to pay your taxes, when to make sure that, make sure you have insurance, make
Don't
sure
be
that you're
calling a T
covered.
word on here.
Okay. Make sure that you're covered as an HR professional so that if you're called into
What
litigation,
legalities? Yeah.
you have insurance, you have all the things that, protect you and keep you solid as an individual. And then lastly, I would say really, really think about what is it you want to provide in your consulting? Do you want to be a full on, like in my business, I'm a full HR consultant, a full service HR consultant. So I offer all services across the HR spectrum, but I'm able to do that because I've had experience in working in all of the functional areas of HR. If I were offering that as a service and I didn't have experience in working in payroll, then I probably would have a challenge with clients who need payroll services, right? So you need to get really clear on exactly what you want to be as a consultant. You can be like Tamika and be a career consultant. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not a consultant, but you're not a full a full service HR consultant. So I think getting really clear about those things. And I know you said 3, but the 4th thing that I would offer
I'm
is
here for it.
become an expert. Like learn, 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 learn. Because HR is one of those spaces that continuously changes. You need to find some stream of information, some stream of individuals that constantly are feeding you about all of the changes and stay current on that. Read, study, learn, and don't ever stop. Every
Yeah.
week I have a
Yeah.
cadence of
Be prepared to be a forever learner. Yeah.
forever learner, right?
Yeah.
So whatever
Even
those
after you
things are.
become an expert, there's still room to learn because so much change. I said this on the last live with Akita, and I'm gonna say it again. Like, and I try, in HR, we try not to talk about religion or politics. We try to
Yeah.
stay out of both of those things. But I'm gonna just be really, really clear. Politics has impacted our careers. It has impacted the HR space over the years. My famous example, or one of the biggest examples I'll use, because I feel like everyone's seen this, or most people now it kind of sets off the light bulb. And we wouldn't have had FMLA if it wasn't for President Clinton back in 1993. Now we have every company, regardless of if you're working 30 hours or more, or if you work in majority of 30 hours in 3 consecutive quarters. Now they have to give you health care. It's nice to see a lot of people decline it, but that's all because of President Obama with the ACA Act. And so I think that we don't realize how politics plays into this. So when we say you're forever learning, like we're forever learning. During COVID, what happened? We had an extension on FMLA. That was a federal mandate that impact HRs and how we had to function on this thing. I had so many people who work in HR for a long time had to now learn FMLA because now these new regulations are on for everyone because of COVID. So like you just have to know that you can't go in it like you know everything. Be okay not knowing
Right.
everything.
I mean, we just saw this big change that happened with the Fair Labor Standards Act and the change
Come
in
on.
the overtime exemption, right?
There you
And
go.
out of these companies that are paying people making $40,000 as a salary, and the government is now saying you cannot do that. They have to meet this salary exemption before you get
Messed their minds up, didn't it? They're
right.
like, what? There's a checklist that we can follow?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And in January, the number's going up again. So if they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
meeting this
Yeah.
$58,686 as a salary, then they cannot be an exempt employee. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not staying current on that information and staying focused on how things are changing, you will not be relevant to as a
Mm-hmm.
consultant. And so
I
I
mean, just
think
like
that's really
same-sex
important.
marriages, right? Same-sex
Yes.
marriages can't cause a difference for us on what we can allow, when you can have benefits, someone added onto your benefits. No different than the Pregnancy Act. It went from being kind of a statewide thing to now it's like changes nationally. So like
Right.
we look at these things and some employees are like, oh, good, yay, this affects me. Well, that affects HR too. This changes policies, this changes handbooks, this causes us to have to change contracts, this causes us to have to do new announcements. Like, so just be prepared to be a forever learner because I am so proud that the Lord has ingrained it to me that girl, you ain't the smartest girl. Because if I was, I'd have I'd have a hard time with myself when something
Yeah.
else new came up. Like you
Yes.
just gotta be prepared. And a lot of these companies now never thought about being global. Now technology has made so many of them global. So just imagine you think you know it all, and then you get the UK coming in here and they're so gracious with their annual maternity leaves, their
Right.
three-part performance improvement plan that allows them to bring an additional person in to help them. You bring in India, who's like, hold on, we have whole new different job titles. Like it can change in any moment, and that's up to the business. And as HR, we got to be able to flex with that. I'm gonna come to y'all questions because y'all in there, child. I love
Chat
it,
is
y'all. We
blowing
ain't forget
up.
about
Okay.
y'all. Oh my goodness. Yes, keep an open mind, Kelly. Yep, FLSA thresholds are throwing folks to a loop out here, especially with low wages. Man, Riley, you already know. Um, that's what we do, Kelly. That's what we do. Politics is definitely an impact. Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, not just states, not just Alabama dissolving DEI. You must even catch my latest video. Microsoft said, hell with it. But
Mhm.
and when I went to research Microsoft, I didn't realize all the other tech companies that had downgraded their DEI so much. But I had down warned
Mhm.
y'all, Riley knows, because he agreed on my video. I had already warned folks that I really felt that that was the impact
Uh-huh.
of Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. I'm so mad they proved me right.
Mhm.
And then let me try to go back up here. So I was about to say year to go. You got Social Roots who said she was at the conference last year. I feel like I know who that is. I feel like that's one of my mentees. Y'all be using these different names and throwing us off. I'm so happy y'all are fired up by the conversation. The power of connection is huge. Like the power of connection is huge. I'm so happy that Sonya and I got introduced because I can still call her with a question and she can do the same with me. And that just feels so good because sometimes, we still get imposter syndrome. Sometimes we
Mhm.
still get imposter syndrome. And then there are other times that we want to challenge ourselves. Like, yeah, I've given this whole laundry list, but let me make sure that I didn't leave one thing off. So the power connection is huge. And listen, I love the full transition. It was wild. It's so wild each time I hear Sonya's story because I hear something new. I knew she started by like being like, yeah, I know HR, but I had no idea that she had kind of grown into the space where she had always been in a leadership capacity because y'all, as luxury as that sound, that she's always been an HR manager, HR leader now, head or chief human resources officer, that sounds amazing, right? But all the responsibility on you, especially because y'all heard her second job, she had direct reports. Then people come to you for answers. It can be, hey, can I have tomorrow off? And it could be, hey, I done messed up this person FMLA leave, and we didn't pay them 400 dollars for the last 3, 4, 5 months on each paycheck. And now we got to figure out how we're going to fix that and get in front of finance space to hear them chew us out. But that's a difficult stance. And I want you to know that timing allowed Sonya's path to be non-traditional. And it's best that you start in an entry-level role, but it's so nice that she said, I know all of HR now. Yeah, she knows it because she's got in there and she worked. Y'all, please don't get in here and trick yourselves.
Listen, that's right. You have got to put in the work. You have got to put in the time, and you have to avail yourself to people who have been there longer than you and gone further than you. I still do
Mm-hmm.
that today, and I'm
I
making
even do that
sure
with
I'm
people
doing
who
it.
have been in longer than me and hasn't gone further than me. When
Yeah,
I got that
absolutely.
executive assistant that been there for 25 years, they know all the nooks and crannies I
All
know
the
nothing
things,
about.
all the
And I
things.
still pay attention to them. Like, and so I think that the biggest thing is that we think of, I want to work for myself. I don't want to answer for anybody else. HR consultancy sounds that great, but like Sonya said, make sure you know what kind of services you providing because you can have a client that literally operates 7 days a week, 24 hours. Is that what you want to do? Do you have system that you can create that can work for the hours you work? Or are you ready to be available 7 days a week, 24 hours? Because we got holidays now. We got times we get tired. We got birthdays. We got people who pass in our families. We got people who get sick. You got to prepare for all of that to balance it as well.
Yeah, and create a model. You have to create a business model and then
Absolutely.
teach your clients how to apply that model to the work that you're doing for them. That was a big thing for me because you will find yourself feeling like you have to answer every time they call. You got to take, every single email. You got to do everything as soon as they do it. But when you have established a structure and a model for yourself, and you, with your agreements and all the things that you create, let them know from the beginning, this is how we operate. This is what you can expect from me. This is how soon I'm going to respond to you if you ask me a question. This is how many hours you're allocated. When I do fractional HR with organizations, I say this is the number of hours and this is what your number of hours include. If there's anything outside of
Don't
that,
forget
then
that.
there's an additional
Now we got to change this because the
things.
price ain't the
Absolutely.
same.
That's not the same.
It's
I see
not
a
the same.
question
Go
from Riley,
ahead.
which I think is a really important question.
Go ahead.
He says, I think it's a male. I'm sorry if I'm misrepresenting your pronouns, but with travel
Yeah,
and,
Raleigh's a male.
okay, with travel and the large scope of my 9 to 5 role, I'm all over the place. How are you balancing 9 to 5, personal business and personal life? And I love that question, right? Because I think I mentioned this just
We
a little
talked
bit
about
with
workplace
the
harmony.
conference, with the conference. It really is about harmony, right? And when I say harmony, what I mean is you don't have to give up one thing to get another. You have to find the alignment in your purpose. And it's not about the things that you do, it is about who you are, right? So harmony is about finding the alignment in who you are called and created to be and aligning your life to that. And so, what that looks like for me is that, yes, I work as this head of HR for this global medical device company, and I have Innovate Human Capital Solutions, and I have a personal life, and I have these things. And there are times when the things that I have going on personally supersede my work with as the head of HR and as Innovate Human Capital Solutions, because I'm going to be who I've been called and created to be. And that allows me to make the decisions about what comes first, what comes second, what comes third and fourth. And I don't have to choose to say, okay, I got to give up my work over here because I got to get this done. It's about finding that thread of harmony and creating a symphony in your life that gives you the opportunity to choose, make decisions about how you engage in the work that you're doing every day. And it's a practice. You have to be intentional about it. I have to tell myself sometimes, especially when I'm going and I've been traveling 4 out of 6 months and I haven't stopped to eat right or exercise or do the things, that harmony means that I have to say, okay, if I have travel for the next 2 months, then I have to figure out in my travel schedule, I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'm going to be working out on this day, this day, this day, and this day. Because this is how I'm creating harmony in my life to make sure I'm not sacrificing this work and my physical health and well-being because I've got travel. That's what harmony looks like. And I think when you are doing that dance of figuring out how to make those transitions, then that's so important to give up the idea of having to create balance and really find a sense of harmony in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah. Because I think the thing is our home lives are so similar. You heard she's divorced. If guys y'all interested now, go ahead. I'm putting all her
Oh,
information in the chat. Reach on out.
available.
She's available. Um, so
Put that out there.
but without a okay, we need to put out for both of us, child. And the way do you see life's going for me? Please come serious, child,
Okay.
because y'all got me about to say
Okay.
hell with it. But with us being single females, we have adult children, so we empty nesters.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get that urge to feel like, well, to keep my business afloat, I need to do this, or I can do this on this time because really I'm not working. Now you giving away your Saturday and Sunday for your business. I mean, I recently just made a change where I was just like, I need to start putting in every email my working hours because I
Mm-hmm.
was literally at the point where I was responding Saturday and Sunday. It's nice to hear people be like, oh man, I wasn't expecting you to respond, but it wasn't helping me,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you get those inquiries where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, see this on the site and you need this offer right here. Like you just need to go ahead and start career mentoring because we ain't about to answer this in an email or a DM. And, I intentionally ignore DMs from time to time because our business is similar, but also different where I'm so out on social media with that that I'll get DMs on LinkedIn, IG, and I have to like intentionally ignore them and say, no, you're going to answer this on Monday morning. Luckily I start pretty early. And I can imagine that, um, I may have to adjust even more when I do find that husband of mine, because ain't nobody want to see me working until 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning all the time. And so I like it that you said that, and that you said like it's a balance for myself, because when I go out there and I run that mile, 2 miles, 3 miles in the morning, or I go and do that, even if it's 30 minutes or an hour at the gym, like that re-energizes me. That
Yeah.
helps me. Like when I'm running, I'm thinking about the next mile, the next light post, like how I'm gonna breathe. Am I holding my hands right? I ain't thinking about work. I'm not thinking about, what's gonna happen with this client. And my brain needs that. So y'all, I just love that she said that, because when Sonya talking about travel now, she ain't talking about no simple travel. Sonya just come back from Kenya for like 2 weeks now. So when she out, the business still got to go. When sis want to
Right.
hang out in Kenya and enjoy the motherland,
Yeah.
her business is still functioning. So y'all think about that as y'all continue to grow. If you see, I hope we didn't miss any questions. So because I want us to do one more thing, because we already over time and we can talk all day. We can keep going, and I love it. I love it. I hate sometimes I hate the clock. If we've been at work, this would have been the longest hour ever. We doing something we
Right.
enjoy. We feel like we've been on here 10 damn minutes.
Yeah.
But I think that I want to make sure that while y'all in here, I want to make sure we serving y'all in the right way, and that we didn't do anything that caused y'all to feel a little bit different. So if y'all enjoyed this entire moment, y'all know me. Give me a one in the chat. Like help your girl out. If you didn't enjoy it, like I can balance the ones out. So don't put a one if you ain't mean it. Please give us a one, because we're gonna have to head into one more amazing thing. Because I told y'all at the beginning we're gonna do a giveaway. So I don't want us to forget about the giveaway. And yes, Riley, Kenya. 2 weeks, child. Don't play with her. Kenya. That's what we talking about. We ain't talking about, ain't no other Kenya. Kenya, Africa. Oh, I'm so excited, because Africa is definitely on my bucket list. So I can't wait until the Lord allows me. Because I mean, before I'd just be happy just to hit the West Coast. Now the Lord taking me other places. So I just am so grateful. And obviously, y'all, that's the benefit of us not only working full time, but owning our own business. And obviously, the revenue comes in higher, and you can, build within your business plan how you want to expense that, or work through that. So that is a luxury. But y'all, please believe we both work till we can get up to
Oh,
this point and get these
okay.
flights and stuff. That
Okay.
ain't come immediately in the game now.
Yeah.
Immediately in the game, I was doing like Sonya, I was investing. And that was coming
Okay.
from my regular paycheck.
Okay. Listen, my job was my angel investor, okay? To
What?
bring
And
help,
had no clue. I
build
had to
it.
show up and be nice.
That's right.
I
That's
couldn't
right.
have a bad day, because I need this money for me and my
That's,
business.
that's
What do you
right.
need? I'll do it.
Right.
No worries. I'm
That's
making a
right.
record time. It's gonna be amazing.
That's right. And then I can start making, now I'm at a point where I can make decisions about, I want to take this client or I do not want to take this client. I don't
And it
have to take it
all.
just
And it all.
because I don't need the money. It's not about the money. It is about the work and
Yeah,
making sure
yeah.
that I'm
I didn't
making.
even think I'd get to a point where I decided that I was removing mentees from the program or rejecting mentees off the gate. And I think I'm so happy that I got to do that early on and discover, like, you don't really have to help this person if it's causing you more heartache. But that's a blessing to get to that point, because in the beginning you kind of feel like you need everything. Look at the
Absolutely.
ones coming through, child. Love the ones coming through. Y'all ready for
Listen,
this giveaway? If y'all ready for this
yeah.
giveaway, give me a two, because we about to dive on into this giveaway. Yes, they love the harmony idea. Oh my goodness. Great perspective. Yeah. Listen, be more intentional. She is not lying. Be more intentional. I found myself in two situations where the HR manager quit, and I was forced to do the HR manager role without additional pay. My negotiation skills are not the best. Sonya and Tamika, what advice can you offer me? The first thing I'm going to offer you, because I already did that twice in my career, and I have vowed that I'm not doing that anymore. But the first thing I had to do was, one, I will say, is my answer might not be the best answer that you're looking for, because I'm going to tell you, if these are things that they want you to do and you've never touched them before, I use that opportunity to touch them, because when I fail, you ain't hired me for that and you ain't pay me for it. So I initially, the first time I did, I was like, okay, I'm gonna dive in, because I was an interim HR director, and I was like, I've never been an HR director before. I've been an HR manager. It's different from being an HR director. So I took it on because I wanted to have that experience to benefit myself in my career journey. I knew that I had not married that company. I was just dating them. I wasn't going to stay there long. So when I go to the next place, now I've built these skills that I can use into my skill toolbox. So If you're comfortable with it and it's not overextending you, then that is something to do if you've never had those skills. So that's what I did initially. I'm grateful for it. I'm absolutely grateful for it because my next opportunity, I was HR director. And I don't know if I would have had the confidence to take on that role if I hadn't already worked in that interim capacity. It sucked that I didn't get paid for it. Our HR director that left and the one that came in both got paid double of what I got paid and got far more perks than I got. They paid me $50 for my phone. They paid them $150. Like those type of things irritated me. But I knew that that was a final, like a good nail in my coffin of like, true, you really showing me as a side piece. So yeah, let me go find my husband because they weren't committed to me. So I didn't have to be committed to them. The next thing I will say is that you should ask your employer, like, what's the time frame on this? I think
Mhm.
that's something I totally learned because I did it for 9 months. And it was like a total slap in the face of like, I managed this whole department for 9 months. I did everything. I created policies. I attended executive meetings. I made executive decisions. I went on to create new initiatives and saw success in them. And I was like, oh, we really ain't paying me. And that was a heartful thing because I felt like I had gathered those HR director skills early on. It didn't take me 9 months. So I would say ask them what's the time frame on you doing that. I think the next thing too is ask them what are they missing? Like, why can't you just go ahead and put me into this role if you want me to do it? And if you feel like you know what they're missing, then be prepared to say, if you guys see my progress that you're looking for in this, will I be a candidate that's up for this open role as you look at external candidates? But Sonya, what do you suggest if she's been in this position where she's doing the HR manager duties and without additional pay. And we let me before I go, she said my negotiation skills are not the best. At this point, it shouldn't be a negotiating. Negotiating, in my opinion, is when a role is presented to you and they've told you how much you're getting paid for it, and they've told you what that job duties entail, what that job description looks like, and you're not satisfied with that offer. They didn't offer anything to you. So you're not negotiating at this point. What you're doing is making a decision. Do I want to go ahead and do this role without additional pay? Or do I really want to say, hey, I don't want the role? It's one or the other. It really ain't a negotiation. They ain't offer you much of nothing, child, except additional work. So I do have a couple videos on negotiation. I'm not going to bother Sonya with negotiation if you don't mind, because you're not negotiating. I don't want to confuse you with that. But I do want to hear what Sonya suggests.
Yeah, I like all of the things that you said. I think one additional thing that I would add is if they've asked you to do additional roles or additional responsibility in a role, they're not asking you to do a new role, then you can always say, like Tamika said, what is the time frame for this? And if there is some bonus associated with it. So you're not necessarily increasing your salary, but you can ask, okay, if at the end of 6 months we have achieved these three specific objectives that are outlined from the beginning of the project, then will I be eligible for X amount, $10,000, $20,000, whatever that number is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you are clear before you say yes to what these responsibilities are. First of all, what is the time frame? What are the expectations? What are you expecting me to deliver? And then at the end, what is going to be the reward? So that's one way that you can approach that without necessarily feeling like you need to negotiate your way into a new role, right? If they're just asking you to do additional tasks. Now, if it truly is an open position, something that the organization needs to hire for, then I would, number one, make sure you understand what the organization's policies and procedures are on recruitment. Like, what is the internal promotion process? Like, has the position been open? Is this something that they're just trying to get you to kind of ad hoc
Skirt
move
into.
into?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, skirt into without officially making it official for you, giving you the title and the money and all the things that go along with that? Or is it truly just a project? I think there needs to be a differentiation
Yeah.
between what that is. And it's your responsibility as a professional to get clarity. It is not the organization's responsibility to provide that to you, because if they can get it out of you, they will. And so you have to be, adept and savvy enough to be able to ask the right questions to make sure that you are clear on what exactly is being asked of you in
Mm-hmm.
those particular situations. And
And
then
be
you get to an ending point and they say, okay, well, you achieved these, but we still need that. Okay, then this is my daily responsibilities. This is my job description. And if I'm adding these roles, if I'm adding these responsibilities, then is my title and my salary going to change? That's how you
mm-hmm.
start to have that conversation. And then you enter into a negotiation at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And don't forget too, I think people get so excited about these titles. Sometimes we get in these things and we don't like them.
Yeah.
So it kind of helping you to decide if there's something you really want to do. It might look amazing while so and so was in it, and then you
Mhm.
get into it and you're like, hold on. And it's very common that when they do that, they'll change the role because now it's so much easier to change it when I have an open role. So it's not that they'll do it just to you. It's common that a role will get changed because it's like, okay, how can we rescope this role because
Right.
business needs have changed or we noticed that we added on different tools or whatever. So be okay knowing that this is also your entry point to decide if there's something you really want to do.
Especially if you are a top performer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, right, because the organization knows the value that you're adding and they know that you're a person that can get things done. You have to leverage that. If you know that you're a top performer, if your evaluations prove it, if you have and keep good documentation of your wins, of your successes, of the things that you've accomplished with dates, times, numbers, right? You need to know the data. You need to know your numbers. You communicate that very clearly. And as a top performer, if you communicate that, it's very unlikely that you will not get what you're asking for. And if they're asking you to do it, it's because they believe that you're capable of it or you've demonstrated that you
Mm-hmm.
have the capacity to do more. So you want to leverage that in how you're
Mm-hmm.
communicating with the organization and what they're asking you to do.
And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't be coaching these people. We just know what we're talking about. Because
Yeah,
how many times do I say document it for yourself?
exactly.
Your successes of what you've done. You can put a date
Listen,
on it. We don't need a biography with it. You can do like a
yes.
three-liner.
And
Like
my
it could be so
team
short and quick.
And my team, every quarter, my team is required now in my one-on-ones. I ask them to bring to me, what are your wins? What have you done? Because that gets them in the practice of number one, being
Doing
able
it.
to identify it and being
Yeah.
able to speak about it. And number three, advocate for themselves. Because
Yes.
as a manager, I am building and developing them so that they can function when I am not there, right?
There
They
you
may
go.
have a manager that's not
There you go.
concerned about their development and their progression. So I'm teaching them now that you have to be able to define what you're doing well, document that, communicate that, and advocate for yourself. As an
And
agent,
don't forget that y'all can add this to your resume too. These are
absolutely.
good points to add to your resume too. These
Yeah.
folks won't know about the giveaway though. They not hit
Okay.
their
So
tools, child.
yeah. So I really want to see some of you at Icon. It really is going to be a spectacular event and experience Thursday and Friday in Charleston, South Carolina, September 19th and 20th. The value of the registration for regular registration is $650. And then the VIP registration is $1,000. That includes a strategic planning session on Thursday, the gala on Thursday night, which is included in regular registration, and then the full learning day on Friday. But for you that are here tonight, if you will send me an email with giveaway in the subject line and one reason why you would like to attend Icon. Now, only if you're serious about coming now, because I don't want to be giving this away to somebody who just is not even going to show up. But if you're serious
Yeah.
and you be
Yeah.
in the room, give me one reason why you want to be in the room. And then I need you to follow me at Innovate Conference, tag one friend and one post, and then I am going to randomly select one person within the next 24 hours to gift a registration to the conference on September 19th and 20th. Now you'll need to provide your own travel, but the registration and your entry to the conference will be gifted.
And y'all, I can't lie. It's worth it. It's worth it. First of all, it whoever come, I'm gonna need y'all to be up in my
Tamika is also a
presentation.
speaker this year. So she's been honored at the gala. And she
Uh,
will be one of the 8 nominees who've been nominated, and we're going to announce the winners at the gala. But she's also speaking about being the career architect or the architecture of your career and
mhm.
managing your career progression. So you don't want to miss her session,
Don't
along
want to
with
miss it.
so many more. I
So
wish
many
you
amazing
can go
people.
on the website and find all the speakers and all the sessions that are going to be offered. But it's going to be an amazing time.
It's gonna be amazing, y'all. It's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited about it, y'all. If y'all follow me on IG, follow me on LinkedIn, anyway, y'all have seen me. If you're on my email list, y'all have seen me post about this. Some of these speakers, like we connected at the conference last year. Now we follow each other on social media, and I just have a good time, like following them. Some of them I've known in the industry for quite some time as well. Like this is gonna be awesome. And Sonya, are we having the female DJ as well as the live
Oh,
band
yes.
again this year?
Oh, yes. So on
Oh,
Thursday night, we'll have a live band. and DJ, and the same on Friday. We'll have a DJ throughout the day, and then our infamous dance party at lunch is happening on Friday. So we do all the line dances, do all the things, and have a
Child,
good
what a
time.
lunch, what a
We have a
lunch. I was
harmony. We got to learn, but we also got to have a good time.
Yes, yes, yes. That's and the you guys know when you go to conferences, normally you get a nice gift bag. And listen, I was mad. I was just a vendor last year. I was like, hold up, can y'all
We
like
got some
squeeze
good
me a gift
swag
bag?
bags this year, honey.
Good swag
Really
bags.
good swag bags.
Oh my goodness. And another amazing thing is that you literally will sit in a room with business owners that you can become employed with, or HR professionals that you can bounce ideas off of. They can tell you about other opportunities, put your name in a room where you're not. So I think it's absolutely amazing. What I'm going to do, if y'all don't mind, is I'm going to put in the chat here. I already put in the chat where you're going to send your email within the next 24 hours. So y'all see it in the chat. It's already there. media@innovatehcs.com. Your subject's going to be giveaway. That's what you're going to do. Be clear, y'all. Please don't do this to us where you take a ticket from someone. I'm going to beg Sonya to make a list of the top 3 people if she doesn't mind, because I know things happen last minute where we think, okay, I can drive to Charleston. No, I can't drive to Charleston. Oh, I can get so and so to get me a hookup on the hotel. Oh, this ain't the right hotel chain. We get it. Some things we think we can do. We're under pressure because we have 24 hours, and then we learn that, oh, this ain't nothing we really, really, really can do. Totally get it. It happens to me. It's happened to me before. It's happened, to the best of us. And sometimes it's just a calendar glitch where we just realize that, okay, this isn't working. So I want y'all to know that, like, we're gonna put this according to the top 3, right? But we're giving it to this number 1 person. Communicate if it's not working out. We'd hate to have this space prepared for you and just to find out that we don't find you in the room, because we will be looking for you. Okay. But Charleston is amazing. Listen, I don't mind if y'all come in and y'all are like, Tamika, I've been watching your channel, I'll take you out to dinner. If you come in at a time that works out with the conference, of course, then we can go out to dinner. I did that with Tara and her team last year. They came in town for the conference, and I took them out to a great dinner down on the market downtown at one of my favorite spots, Oyster House. But anyhow, make sure to let us know by sending your email tonight to this email address. And then, like she said, she's going to probably 9 times out of 10, because Sonya has an amazing team, she's probably going to remind you of the instructions again. The instructions, in my opinion, are pretty easy. Like, I could
Yes. So
totally be
tell us
wrong, but
one reason why. One reason why you want to attend, and then you need to follow Innovate Conference, and the handles are in the chat. Follow Innovate
Mhm.
Conference and tag a friend on one post. That's
Yep, there
all
you
we
go.
need from you.
I just added that in the chat. And I think so. If Social Roots is who I think she is, she already here. So I know sister, and send her email, child. Um, because she was like, she want to come back again. So if you guys are totally ready, then go ahead and send your email. Sonya's gonna let us know who won. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send out an email on the end of this week on Friday, and I'm gonna announce who that winner was so we all can congratulate them, because we gave winners away with Cassie the last time, and we had all 3 people attend. We actually had, like, I think 2 extras. I have some pictures of them, so I want to share those people with y'all too. If y'all don't mind. If you got a problem with it, then tell Sonya and be like, tell Tamika, don't put that in her email. I got you. Um, but I'm so happy for y'all. I'm so happy to have Sonya. Sonya, man, listen, what are we talking about?
It's
You know, I
amazing.
always have a great time
Yes,
talking to
we
you.
do. We do. We always have a good
Always.
time.
I
There's
am so
never a
grateful.
lack in the conversation. I mean, we just can
Child,
go.
and
We
every
can
time we
keep
got
on
something
going.
new. We
Yes,
good. Don't play with us.
yes.
See, we got almost like 8:30, child. And we actually got on a couple minutes early, but I'm excited. I'm excited about what you're doing. I think that the conference last year, in my opinion, I'm not lying when I say it. Who can really compare to 22,000 attendees going out to National SHRM?
Yes,
So we ain't even talking about them people,
yes.
because they got money beyond days when they got stars and
Gotcha.
stuff showing up.
Oh
But
God, yes.
but this in 12 years, and I've been blessed to go to conferences since I was an HR assistant. I believe was my first role. Otherwise,
Mhm.
definitely my second role as an HR specialist. I've been blessed to go 2, 3 conferences a year. This is the best conference that I attend in the HR space. And so I thank you for creating
Thank
this
you.
space. I thank you for letting divine energy like lead you. I can imagine everything that you're doing is not easy. I don't know how you're doing it. I ain't even trying to figure it out. Don't be looking for a conference from Tamika, y'all, because that ain't happening. So I ain't be trying to trick me. That ain't happening. At least
Just
not right
not
now.
yet. Not, that's right. Just not yet.
So definitely send y'all emails. I'm so blessed to have y'all here. If y'all already told me y'all already had a good time. The
Yes.
timing is off for you. Sorry, Kelly. Damn it. The timing, I'm squeezing in too. My daughter's birthday and my nephew's. My daughter and my nephew's birthday are the day before. So my sister, I was like, okay, she's not gonna be able to come. But she's like, nope, we're gonna make it happen. I'm so thankful for that. Um, but listen, we get it. If as long as the Lord let this work out this year, then I'm gonna go ahead and talk into Sonya's ear again. And it'll probably be a 2025, right? If you guys go out here and follow her on socials and share her information, her social pages, her website with people who are looking for a HR consultancy agency, that will help her flourish even more so that she can guarantee us that she'll do it year after year after year. But it can't take just this one time to be like, oh yeah, we're absolutely doing it again. It has to take a community, and y'all are my amazing community. I appreciate y'all all the time. Do me a huge favor and support her. Make sure to follow her. Even if you know you can't come to the conference, do me a favor, follow her. And then once you follow her, when you see something that hits you, something that you think your work bestie can benefit from, share it with them. Do that for me. Anyhow, so you know we're gonna be chatting, but for now, I'm gonna let you have a good night.
Thank you. It was a
You're so
pleasure. Thank you so
welcome.
much for embracing me in this beautiful community. And I look forward to sharing with you guys. If you have any questions, more about HR consulting, feel free to shoot me a DM. Follow me on socials. I think Tamika added all of my social media information. We couldn't get to all of the questions, but if there are things that I can help you with, I'm more than happy to share whatever insight and information that I have. So you can shoot me a DM, and I will respond.
Yeah, she's not lying, y'all. She will respond.
Yes.
She's not lying whatsoever. So and to be honest with y'all, I'm very careful about who I bring onto my platform because I like people who function the way I do, and she definitely does. So if she can help you, she will. So sorry we didn't get to all the questions. I'm so shocked. I didn't even get to all the questions I prepared. So please know that ain't no love lost. I just know folks ready to
It
go to
just mean I
bed.
gotta come back. It just mean I gotta
That
come
say it again for the people in the back. All right, Sonya. Good night, my love.
Good night. Thank
And good night,
you.
community. You're so welcome. So, so welcome. Can't wait to see y'all on the next one.
Okay. Have a good
All
night, everyone.
righty.
Bye-bye.